unrestricted and unlimited. We can talk about anything you want. Unrestricted and unlimited. Let's talk about something. Your one-on-one with Stacey Thomas. Unrestricted and unlimited. We can talk about anything you want. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. This is I Am Stacey Thomas. I am Stacey Thomas. This is the show that I love to motivate, educate, and inspire people and entertain. My guests are like myself that come on. I put them in a category of being unrestricted, unlimited. It simply means don't box them in because we all have yet to see all that God has for us. So I am extra excited about tonight because if anybody knows me as the author, I am an author, ALS advocate, speaker, film producer, and as you can see, talk show host. So I dab in a little bit of everything. Blame it on the Gemini. And as one of my girlfriends said one time, don't get mad with me. Take it up with God. He created me, right? So in my connections or speaking to people, it not always comes to me. God uses people to be bridges. I refer to myself as a bridge sometimes, meaning the blessing may not be for me. It may be for someone else, and I'm merely here to connect them, right? So a mutual friend of me and my guest started talking about this lady, right? And the minute she starts talking about this lady, my first question is, where's she at? And then she says, she's local. And I say, not to want to steal anybody from anybody, but I want her on my show. Can you make that happen? Right? So let me bring on this beautiful lady. Well, before I bring her on, I'm going to show you why I'm so excited. All right? I'm going to show you. The truth about the lies. Let's bring on Sharon. Hey, beautiful.
Hey, Stacey, look, let me pull my feet up. I have been waiting for this conversation.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. You said you've been waiting for this conversation. Let me tell you something. Between following you on Facebook, I started reading a book, which I told you. I said I am not going to finish reading that book and take over the show when she don't get a chance to tell what it is she wants to tell, right? Sharon, thank you so much for coming on my platform.
Well, thank you for having me. And I am so grateful for Sharon Oliver for introducing us. You know, she told me about you and I said the same thing. I was like, oh, yes, please do connect us, please.
Sharon is awesome. And I got to tell you, anytime there's someone that I feel like is bold, but bold in a classy way, you know what I mean? It's all right to be bold when you know how to be bold. Right?
Yes.
And someone that talks about real issues. Too many times things come up, women go through things.
Yes.
And there are times that we think we can talk to our best friends, but what do they know?
Right.
And then I believe that there's some things that's best left between you and God.
Yes.
But in your case, Sharon, next time I talk to a woman, I'm going to say, you don't have to just take it to God. Call Sharon. How about that?
I love it.
So I'd like to start off by asking you first. What type of therapist are you?
I am mental health. I'm a licensed professional counselor, LPC, and then I have a certification in substance abuse as well. It's mental health primarily, substance abuse secondarily. And I work with anxiety, depression, adjustment difficulty, couples, individuals. I don't do any family therapy, but pretty much any type of issue that is disrupting your life, I can help you get back on track. If you bring all of you into the session, and you're ready for change, then I can help you get back on track. Yes.
So how did you, if you're doing wonderful things from the sound of it, but how did you end up getting on the subject of cheating men?
Oh, that's one of the primary subjects that women bring into counseling. That's one of the primary subjects, cheating. She may come in for anxiety or depression, or, she just really feels off. But I would say for me, with my clients, about 85% of them at the core is a toxic relationship, is a relationship where she has endured some betrayal, and namely cheating. So, yeah.
And what is that percentage again?
About 85% of my clients.
About 85%. So so we come to you for one thing.
Yeah.
And it never dawns on us that it has something to do with that.
No. Some people come straight in the door with that, but others will come in and they are, they're having these symptoms, and, they're off in all settings, work, with family and friends, just not feeling like themselves. And when they come in, of course, the first thing we're going to do is an assessment. And so we're going to look at everything biological, psychological, sociological while we're doing the assessment. And when we get to that relationship, there it is. Okay. So we can kind of connect the dots back to, you started feeling this way when that thing happened in your relationship.
Wow. I'm interested in knowing what your definition is, because you're educated in this and because you're a therapist. What is cheating? Number one, I've got two parts to that.
Okay.
What is cheating? And is there a difference when you're married and not married?
Well, that's good. I was going to jump right out there with an answer, but let me pause. Okay. Let me say this, Stacy. Cheating is anytime there is a betrayal of an agreement that two people have made, the terms of engagement that two people have agreed upon, then there's cheating. It may be different for different people. Some people have open relationships, and some people expect monogamy, exclusivity, loyalty. So it depends on the couple, because I can't tell you it's cheating if you and your partner have made an agreement that we are okay with this, and this. Okay. So, when people come into my office, I ask straight up, what were the boundaries that you all set for the relationship? And what's the foundation that the relationship is built upon? And then we can determine whether or not, where the betrayals are.
So if you asked me, what's the foundation? What do you mean? Is it a biblical foundation? Is it what are you asking me?
Well, some people have a biblical foundation, but that's different for a lot of people as well, because the foundation of the relationship, what is that relationship built upon? Did you all have a sexual relationship right out the gate and then determine that, okay, now we're going to move into a committed relationship and it's just the two of us? Or were you friends when you first started out, and then you kind of realized that, wow, I want to take this to the next level? Was it a situationship that you all started in, and, he had somebody and you had somebody, and then you ended up leaving those people and you cheated your way into this relationship? Like, what is the foundation of the relationship is where we start with it.
And if we have, I guess, like I consider old-fashioned relationship where we don't cheat. We don't share. Stacey's not sharing. She's a Gemini. I'm not sharing, first of all. That's going to be part of my foundation right there. That's my boundary.
Right.
let's say it is that it's supposed to be just me and you, right?
Mm-hmm. And we agree upon it's me and you.
We
That's
agree
an
upon it.
agreement there.
Do we have to at the beginning decide? I mean, because with men, and there's some good men out here. I'm not bashing men, but
Yeah.
sometimes they try to throw things back on you. Do we
Yeah.
have to, when we're talking about boundaries, if there's a young lady right now and says, I'm listening to her because when I start dating, I want to implement this, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about boundaries, do we got to be so specific that we say if she wants your friend before we got together, you don't make no new friends? Do we have to say in the very beginning, I mean, just little things that should be obvious?
Well, obvious to you, is I've heard it said common sense ain't common, so if it's obvious to you, it doesn't mean it's obvious to him. I always tell people, you have to make your needs known. It is your responsibility to make your needs known. And people sometimes say when they talk to me, well, gosh, I feel like I'm in an interview because I'm going to ask the questions. I'm going to go deep and ask the deeper level questions. So many people stay on the surface and they don't ask the questions that they need to ask. And they don't tell the partner or the potential partner the needs that they have that they expect to be met. And then when there's a problem, they get upset. Yeah, you got to tell it. You got to tell it up front. So there are no blurred lines. Right. You have said it, you've made it known, and your partner has agreed upon it. Then if there's a violation, then that's cheating.
Right. When you say talk about these things when you start dating, I have said to a couple of my single friends, and even one of my sisters, you have to ask questions. And I'm not even going to tell you some of the questions I tell them they have to ask, okay?
Right.
But you have to ask questions. And the first thing my sister says is, only you would say that, Stacy. I'm not asking. But if you don't ask, how are you going to come up later and complain about it?
Exactly. You would be surprised. That's one of the main problem areas that a lot of the women have that I work with in my practice who have found themselves in a relationship where there's a betrayal. I would be asking them, well, did you ask this? What did he say about this? But and the answer is, I don't know, because they haven't asked the questions. And they feel like, asking too many questions is intrusive. Asking too many questions is just being nosy, or I'm out of my lane. But if you are agreeing to be in a relationship with this person, you all are building something together. So I should be able to ask you whatever I want to ask you, right?
Right. and I know we really have to get to the subject of the book, but it's just questions around it. Like, is cheating one of those things that can be considered a disease or an addiction?
No, I think it's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. Yes. It's a choice that is attached to values, conditioning, and the attachment style.
The attachment style. So when a man realizes, I guess, his father was a cheater, his grandfather was a cheater, and and now he's a cheater. It's not necessarily genetically, because it's your choice.
Yeah. Now he's been conditioned to it, because he's seen it all his life. And I actually have a chapter in the book that deals with that, because that's one of the lies that women tell themselves, to keep them stuck with cheating men. But that chapter talks about, she will say, well, his dad cheated, his grandpa cheated, everybody in his family's cheaters. So what do I expect from him? I expect him to be a cheater. And that's one of the lies. And I say it's a lie because that's not why he cheats. He is grown now. He's been conditioned and he's been exposed to that, but he gets to make his own choices. He's no longer a little boy who doesn't have the liberty to make choices, or who doesn't know right from wrong. So he's making a choice when he cheats. Yeah, his dad cheated and his grandpa cheated and his uncle cheats and he's around it all the time. But he can make choices about whether or not he wants to follow, in their footsteps or not.
Wow. So why What lies do women tell to keep them stuck
Well,
in cheating men?
yeah. Why did I name the book that? Why did I title
Yes,
it that?
yes, yes.
Because when women come in and we're working on the depression and the anxiety and the stress level that's associated with the cheating, the betrayal, then she's bringing in the act of cheating. You know, he's cheated and now I'm experiencing this and this is happening and all. But what she is not realizing is a big part of what she's feeling is because of what she's thinking, the narrative that she's telling herself, the thoughts and the beliefs that she has attached to the cheating. And that plays a big role in her suffering. And a lot of women will attempt to create a narrative that takes them away from having to deal with the truth.
That's interesting that you said that, because I don't want to tell the book, because obviously we need people to get the book. But
Mm-hmm.
I started reading about the characters.
Uh-huh.
We all know a character. We all
been a character.
been a character.
Right, exactly.
Now I'm trying to figure out. See, ever since I started promoting this thing,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if I lied to myself. I always thought, if I say it, I know what my gut tells me.
Mm-hmm.
If I say it out loud,
Mm-hmm.
am I lying? Am I lying if I just let it go? I'm gonna give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell all book one day, but I had a man. I'm not gonna say husband or man because I don't want to bad mouth anybody. But my man, we had good sex. Okay, we had great sex.
Okay.
But two things happened in this relationship. First of all, my man would say, I was taught if you can't put your hands on me, you can't prove I'm cheating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one time, and if he's not on social media, but I don't care, he comes home with a box, a gift box, no wrapping paper, 3 pair of brand new work pants. My gut, right? I ain't had no other signs, but something telling me this ain't right.
Yeah.
And I say to him, where'd you get those? This man says, one of the guys at work got a gift and the pants were too small, so he gave them to me.
Oh, okay.
Sharon.
And you wanted to believe him.
No. Sharon, first of all, because I done did my dirt back at one time.
Okay.
I'm like, no, you ain't trying to play me. I think that's stuff not me.
Right. Part
of me wanted to believe him because I didn't want to argue, because when Stacy wants to talk about something, a woman wants to talk about something, a man says, I don't feel like arguing. They want the conversation done, right?
Right.
So I did say to him, you didn't get those. Ain't nobody give you 3 pair of pants brand new. He would have took them back to the store and exchanged them, right? But Sharon, I let it go. Was I didn't say to myself, I believed him, Sharon.
Right.
But what character am I?
Blind.
Okay, so I got one more. Oh, this gonna be a good one. That book got me going. So back to the sex part. Great sex.
Okay.
But Sharon, that man came home and one time we had sex. He wasn't making love to me.
Okay.
Now, my girlfriend laughed. A woman is not crazy.
Yeah.
You know, Sharon.
Right.
So I said to him afterwards, you had somebody else on your mind. Stacy, stop acting like that. Why would you say whatever? See, he didn't want to talk about it. So I'm sure, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I'm sure it took a while before we did that again. But I let it go.
You let it go.
Was I blind again?
Yeah. No, that would probably fall more under the settler, because
But I did. I knew based
You
on
know,
my gut.
you know, the gut never lies though.
But I ain't gonna lie, my own conscience was working on me too. Stacy, just because you did such and such, you know what I'm saying? But I was making excuses.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We protect our investment, you know, and sometimes protecting our investment is subconscious, because this is a relationship that you have and he's with you, and so you're making an investment in, you know, moving that relationship forward. So unconsciously we will get into protecting our investment, because a lot of women will say, I don't want to get back out there, I don't want to start over, at least I know what I have with him so I can deal with it because I know what I'm dealing with, you know.
So a settler.
Exactly.
Please
Yeah.
forgive me. I know you didn't expect me to want to get on your couch today.
And the first example you gave me, I said blind, because you know, you can be blind on levels. You got total blindness where you don't see anything and you are denying all truths. You have partial blindness where you choose what you want to see. You know, you have the blindness or the peripherals, you just looking straight ahead. You don't even want to turn your head to look at any other things that happening on the outskirts because you don't want to deal with it. So the first example you gave me, that's why I said the blind.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was reading those characters and I was like, matter of fact, I was laying down, relaxing, reading, and I jumped up. I said, okay, God, okay, I got to ask her. And I'm not going to call out any names or anything, but I know some of those characters.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And not to be judgmental, what do you say about the character you had? We're not going to talk about the characters unless you want to, but the character because this character I honestly wonder about sometimes. Okay. The person that knows he's a cheater, mm-hmm, but still stays with them because of materialistic things, financial things, or whatever. I mean, if you really look at it, and if she's watching, I love her. But that's not good for us mentally either, is it?
Well, some people, if the foundation that they've set allows for the cheating, like take Monique, the comedian, you know, yes, right out the gate.
Are they open?
Yeah, cheating was not an issue. She was like, for us, because she felt like it's going to happen anyway. So, you know, for us, it's not a deal breaker. And you have some couples where they say that's not a deal breaker for them.
Is it more difficult for you to deal with a couple is it more difficult to deal with a person that's been in an open relationship but now scorned, or an individual that was not in an open relationship?
Yeah, I have just a small percentage of people who started out, that foundation started out in an open relationship. One or the other decides, I want to close it. And then there's a pseudo agreement that it's closed, but one of them is still keeping it open without the other one knowing about it. And so when the betrayal is you know, brought to the surface that you kept doing that after we said that we would close the relationship, then the partner who kept it open would defer to, well, that's how we started out.
You know what, Sharon?
Mm-hmm. Why are you tripping now? That we've been doing this.
Exactly. I had a book signing once, and when a man walks up to me and says, so you write books? And I said, yeah. He said, you know, you need to talk to my wife. And I said, well, I don't need to talk to your wife. I said, I don't write other people's stories. Mm-hmm. He said, she'll tell you about my number 1, number 2, and number 3. Your number 1, number 2, and number 3. So he says, women. I said, your wife knows? Because even though I write the books, I know that I do. I'm still a little slow with some things, Sharon. So he says to me, I said, your wife knows? And he says, yeah. And he says, she goes with her too. I said, she goes with her too. So I bring up something that I think is going to be difficult for him to answer. I said, what if one of the other women get pregnant? Oh, we have a daughter.
Oh, okay.
He says, my wife and her go shopping. They go out and do things together. So then I said, because I'm still like, I'm frowning because I ain't, I don't know anybody that does this. And I said, what if your wife tells you she doesn't want to do it anymore? And he says, doesn't want to do it what anymore? I said, she doesn't want to share you anymore. He says, I'll look at her and I'll say to her, do you want me to cheat?
Ooh. Uh-huh.
These things, I guess, like you said, we got to watch how we enter into a relationship.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Is there another character you want to talk about?
I just found them all pretty interesting, and there are probably tons of other characters, but and we just to let the audience know what we're talking about when we say characters. The way I wrote the book was I'm looking at women trying to cope in relationships where they know that the cheating is occurring, and most of the times I'm dealing with women who have been with a repeat cheater. So trying to stay in the relationship and trying to cope in the relationship, she has to separate from herself. If that cheating is a deal breaker for her, then she has to separate from her value system. And she has to now tell herself something that will help her to stay in that relationship because she's not ready to leave. For whatever reason, she's not ready to leave. So that script that she starts to create and those new beliefs that she starts to connect with create a character image of herself. And she then starts to function as a character in her own relationship drama. She's the main character in her relationship drama. But Stacey, they don't realize that it's happening, because what she's thinking is, I'm saving the relationship. I'm working with him, And so she starts to morph into this character. And the longer you stay and you tell yourself these scripts that keep you in the relationship, the further away you depart from yourself. And a lot of women get to the place where they don't even believe they can have what it is that they want anymore because they've been taking and settling and creating scripts for such a long time that they get stuck.
You mentioned a good one. I'm probably gonna tell someone to get. I'm gonna tell someone to get the book. Mm-hmm. Potential.
Yeah.
I guess I've met a couple women that fall under that thing.
Yeah.
Because I have a son that attracts women like, I guess bees attract honey attracts bees or whatever.
Okay.
And I'd say, because I'm one of those mothers, I don't play hurting women, okay? Not even when it comes to my boys. And I've heard a few girls say to me, he has potential.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see that in your book.
Yeah, that's a big one, though. I mean, it's a big one because, and I don't want to generalize, but the representative enters the relationship. He comes in the relationship acting like he's all these things that you want. He's saying all the right things. He's doing all the right things. He makes you feel like the relationship is just, all about you. And then you start to see cracks in the veneer, and she gets stuck on that one who entered the relationship and how he entered the relationship. Ooh. So she's waiting for him to return, but now he's pulled the mask off and he's letting you see who he is, for real. And she's waiting for the representative to come back.
Stuck on the representative.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so that's the character I talked about when she has all these things. She's saying he's going to change after, and that's the dreamer. He's going to change after this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing happens, because she saw the good guy. She saw the guy that she wanted in the beginning, but he's morphed into something else now. And she believes that something is going to shift and he's going to return to that person who I met.
Can a person that comes to you, or a person that's one of these characters, right? Can a person be in a relationship and because it's affecting them, right? He's happy. He's living life. He's not going to change.
Okay.
Can a woman heal and still stay in the relationship?
Absolutely. And that's one thing I tell people. My book is not telling you, it's not a guide on how to leave your cheating man. And
Okay.
it's not and it's not to belittle any woman who decides that she wants to stay in the relationship. I'm just saying you have to tell yourself the truth. And the healing is going to come from you living in truth. Whether or not you stay or go, you got to do your healing. And once she starts to heal, I've worked with women who have done their healing. And because she brings all of herself into the relationship and she is honest with what's going on and who she has, she's not broken. She's no longer depressed. She's no longer experiencing anxiety and all of that.
But she's still in the house with that man. He's not coming home straight from work. He didn't come home at all.
Mm-hmm.
What is she just, as long as she says out loud, I know you're cheating, and keep it moving? I mean,
and she's waiting. She's willing to wait for him to change, or she feels like she has enough of an investment in the relationship that is a less significant part of the relationship than some other things.
it's almost like I tell people, my husband, my man likes to work on cars, right? Old cars. He likes old cars, and his dogs. I don't complain because I've learned. I say that's better than him being in the street. Work on as many cars as you want. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to, I guess that falls in, pick what you're willing to accept and what you're not.
Exactly.
Because no relationship is going to be perfect, I guess.
Exactly. And I have a chapter in there that talks about one of the things that women tell themselves is everybody has to deal with something in their relationship. Okay.
Now, I just won't do the horn. I won't do that. I won't do it. I won't do the cheating.
And if that's something she says she can deal with, then she got to tell herself the truth, and she can't deal with it. She has to tell herself the truth.
Because if she can deal with it, basically she's changed her relationship from just you and me type foundation to an open relationship, basically, right?
Yeah. But she may not consider it open because she's not doing anything. She's still not cheating. Right. She's just like, okay, well, this is something that I am willing to deal with. Back in the day, that was common.
Right.
Mr. Charlie had children
everywhere.
With Rose around the corner.
Cousins ended up being sisters and brothers.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It depends on what you can deal with. I'm just saying, be honest about what it is that you feel like you can and you can't deal with, because you get caught up in the narrative, and so much energy goes into keeping the narrative the truth that you've separated from the reality of what's going on. If you can live in the reality and you can live with the fact that he's cheating, and you determine that it's not stripping you of your sense of self, your sense of worth or whatever, and you think that you have enough on the other side of the equation to balance off he's cheating, then that's your business, But if you can't, then be honest with yourself and say, no, I cannot deal with that. And if I stay, I'm going to stay disconnected from myself and I'm going to lose me.
Dealing with a cheating man, it will break a woman down, won't it?
It can, if you are one of those women who cannot deal with it. Yes.
So with you being a therapist, I got to make sure I ask this question, because, a lot of times people, okay, so you have the people that actually study like you have in school, and that's good. And then there's people that say, I'd rather speak to someone who can relate to what's going on with me. Are you a therapist that only knows this through school? Or can you relate to some of the women that come to see you?
I am a woman that's on the other side of 50. So I have endured my share of life circumstances. Okay. So yeah, a lot of it I can deal with, I can understand, and I got some firsthand, knowledge of it. I'm not saying I've been every character in my book.
Right.
But I'm saying I understand, as a woman, I know what betrayal feels like and what it feels like to be in a relationship that you're not ready to leave.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
The things that you said, especially when you say, I guess I don't know if I'll ever get it, but once I come to you or once I realize that I've lied to myself
Mm-hmm.
and I have to face, like, I've lied to myself and I realize my anxiety or depression comes from this.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me. How could I ever be so strong to stay in the relationship?
So you would have to leave, Stacy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. See, because my thing is
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
once I know, it's a
Right.
whole different ball game
Yeah.
than thinking or
Mm-hmm.
someone telling you.
Right.
I'm that person I can forgive,
Uh-huh.
but I cannot forget. And because I'm like that, cheating would just really tear my home up.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing that I point out in the book is staying is not forgiving and leaving is not unforgiveness.
Explain, please.
Because women can stay and not forgive the partner for
That's
cheating.
not healthy though, right?
Right, exactly. But she stayed and she's telling herself that I'm forgiving him because of the act of staying, but she isn't forgiving him. Now, another woman could leave and say that, oh, I'm going to forgive him and I'm leaving because I can't do it. But she's still stuck on what happened in the relationship. She's still stuck because she really hasn't forgiven him. Leaving doesn't mean that you've forgiven him and you've moved past it and you let it go. And those are the women that you'll see go and repeat the cycle with another relationship because they haven't done the work to heal from the relationship where the wound happened.
Wow. We
Mm-hmm.
really do. It's true. We all need a therapist. And
We
we
do.
all we all need a therapist.
And the therapist needs a therapist.
Especially when she gets a Stacy on the couch. But anyway, so women that I'm not even going to say any particular character,
Mm-hmm.
but because a woman takes on one of these roles, could
Uh-huh.
that come from learned behavior? Is that how I say it?
Yeah.
Because of what the mother put up with and the grandmother put up with. Is that learned behavior sometime?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes she's been conditioned. She's been, she's seen this play out in her own home. She also, I don't get into this in the book, but I get a chance to work with this topic, this concept when people come into me. We all have an attachment style, and our attachment styles are formulated from our primary relationships, mother, father, or whoever raised you. And depending on the attachment style that you develop, that's going to play out in every relationship that you have. So, you got three attachment styles. You got the anxious attachment style, you have the dismissive avoidant attachment style, and you have the secure attachment style. Now, depending on what type of attachment wounds you have from your primary caretaker, if your mom ignored you and your dad was emotionally distant or whatever, you may pick a partner like that and you will be okay. If you had to wonder what your worth was with your parents because you didn't get the emotional connection and the love, then you may be prone to that in a relationship with your partner. If you saw dad cheating and mom putting up with dad cheating, then you may think that's normal behavior and you will be able to do that as well. So the conditioning, yeah,
Wow.
big.
And when we have learned behavior, excuse me,
Yeah.
I guess if we recognize that if there's a woman relationship doesn't work out and this is going on, if it is a learned behavior, I guess that's why she would see a therapist too.
Exactly. Yeah. And the women who are more prone to stay, she is not really about him. It's about her and her own whatever attachment wounds she has. So rejection, abandonment issues, those types of things that played out in her life with her primary caregivers, then she does not want to feel rejection. So she may create a script to keep herself from feeling rejected, or she doesn't want to be abandoned. So she will do whatever she needs to do so that she doesn't have to deal with that abandonment that she dealt with before. It goes deep. I tell people, don't do popcorn therapy. Get in there with a therapist and peel those onion layers back so that you know what your issues are. And then you heal those issues. And once you heal those primary issues that you have, you can then have your healthy relationship with yourself first and then with your partner.
Well, and I think having you on the show has shown me something, and I hope my viewers, I hope somebody has gotten this. Girlfriends have a way of being hard on other girlfriends.
Yeah.
Girlfriends have a way of saying, I wouldn't put up with this, I wouldn't put up with that. But that girlfriend doesn't know what she could be dealing with inside.
Exactly. Yep.
So these best friends, y'all got to be careful on what you would do and what you wouldn't do or whatever.
Yeah.
Sharon, this has just been very enlightening. I didn't want to say too much because I'll start talking about the book. But anyways, why do you think, not just because Sharon wrote a book and Sharon's a therapist, why do you think women should read this book? What's in it for them?
Self-awareness. Because what I write about in this book, most women don't realize they're doing it. And the women who came into my office who led to me writing this book didn't realize what they were doing. They didn't realize that they had morphed into a character image of themselves. They didn't realize that they were living in a script instead of dealing with the reality. They didn't realize they were trying so desperately to avoid the truth that they had created an alter ego of themselves so that they could stay in that relationship. They didn't realize that. So the first thing it does is it helps you to be aware of the traps. And it's not just with cheating. This can be with any type of relationship. This can be your relationship with your mother. Your mother may be a manipulator. Your mother may be a person who, has you in a place where you're dreaming that one day she's going to change, and she never is going to change. And you got to accept that this is who she is.
Family members.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just the cheating. A lot of people tell me I did myself a disservice by putting the cheating in there because it's with coworkers, family members, any relationship, you can play one of these characters in. You can morph into one of these characters because we can be betrayed in any type of relationship.
And it's good that you're disclosing that. I personally, nothing against the person that said that. I think you did good putting the cheating in. Mm-hmm. I think it's just like another book, another guest that I had on the show, Eddie Good. So his book people thought are for men. But once you read it, you realize it's for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's based on the subject you write about that's going to grab the attention.
Right.
What comes to you? Cheating came to you because that's a big word.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big word. Who hasn't, if you've dated,
yes,
who hasn't cheated?
Right. Exactly.
And for those that like who are just starting to date, college students, or it's important that they hear Sharon speak about this because at the end of the day, majority of us, we will be in a relationship one day.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, we will be in a relationship one day. Woo, that's a job. That's a job.
And I think it's a primer. The book is not therapy, but it's a primer for therapy. But as you said, I wish I would have read this book before I started. I had a book like this before I started dating. Because we do have to unlearn a lot of stuff that we have been conditioned to believe or that's been hammered into our head. I don't know how many times I heard older women say to me, well, half a man better than no man, or
he takes care of home and he takes care of family.
That's in here. That is in here.
He takes care of family. Older women that I've heard conversing or whatever, or in talking to older women, it's like he takes care home, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Excuse me, what about me? What
Yeah.
about my self-esteem, my confidence? Break me down because
Yeah.
you're taking care of home?
And I even challenged that in the book because that is one of the chapters that, he takes care of me. And I say there's a difference between being provided for and being taken care of. There's a difference. Most of those men were providing for the home, but to take care of something, you think about a care manual. The care manual tells you how it operates, what to do to make it function at its best, what to do if it's breaking down, how to keep it maintained to the fullest of its capacity. That's taken care of. So if he's taking care of you, then he's doing all of that. Most of these women were being provided for. They weren't being taken care of.
Wow. And I guess it's not going to be a great feeling when we realize if we are one of the characters, because it wakes you up. It wakes you up. And and if it's waking you up and you can confess that one of these characters are you, that you're writing about, that you're saying, excuse me, we're telling ourselves lies, then I think women should go from there and say, how do I do better?
Yeah. And that's where the healing actually, what you just said is that's where the work begins. Because once she realizes, then the healing can take place. And it is such a beautiful thing. I'm going to tell you, the woman who walked into my office, not knowing that we were going to get to this place where I'm going to show you where you've been acting as a character image of yourself. And then she realizes and she embraces it. And then she embraces her truth. And then she reconnects with herself. And I mean, all the values that she left behind, and she reconnects with herself. She is a powerful woman. And she don't look nothing like the woman who first came into my office. So, it's a beautiful thing. I'm like, wow, so this is you. Okay.
Wow. Sometimes I guess you need to talk to somebody that can bring the underlying issues out, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Sharon, we're going to take a little break. Stacey's starting to throw little segments in. Her my coach. We're going to take a little break. Tonight's sponsor is Stacey Thomas. And we'll be right back, Sharon, to get more from you.
Okay.
I am an author, speaker, talk show host, and ALS advocate. ALS disease is a disease it's a nerve disease that weakens the muscles and eventually takes away the ability to walk, talk, and sometimes breathe. I do that in honor of my mother. I educate everyone. However, I really try to get out in the African American community and educate African Americans because it is something that we do not know about, but we need to know about. It does creep into our community, right? It does creep into our community. I do not wish this on you or anyone you know or in your family, but if you should happen to come across somebody that is dealing with ALS disease and they have nothing about it and they need to speak to someone that understands, someone that cares, that is my passion. Have them contact Stacey Thomas. Thank you, Stacey, for that sponsorship tonight, Sharon. So, Sharon, I want to show your book again because I want people to read it. I want women to read it. I want men to read it. Like you said, people have coworkers, because once you made the point that it's not just for people in relationships, it hadn't dawned on me, but there are family members. There are people in our lives that we need to read about that, right? Mm-hmm. My way at 53 of dealing with some of the characters in your book, since we say we can do family or friends,
right?
I decided I have certain times of the day, 10 a.m. and 5 p.m., where I will talk to certain individuals.
Okay.
I have put a time on it. They're not aware of it, but they're going to learn. I have put a time on it because some of the things that you describe, I'm going to deal with them because I love them.
Right.
But I won't allow you to consume my whole day.
Yes.
I won't allow you to dictate how my day will start. And I won't allow you with those demon-like spirits
right.
to rub off on me before I get on my knees at night. I'm learning I have to take some control.
Yes. Yeah, you do.
Maybe I'm going to suggest the books to a couple people I know too, and let them know it's not just for cheaters.
Yeah,
How about
exactly.
that? We're going to show you a book. Let's see. The Truth About the Lies. Sharon, I love the cover. It's very catchy. The title's very catchy. You like, you don't need me to say this, but you did a great thing with your title and the way you're promoting your book. If someone on here wants to get a copy of your book, how do they do that?
Okay. So I do have a website. It is a secure website. It's Sharon M. Fortune there, SharonMFortune.com. I think we need to put the M. So it has SharonFortune.com, but the SharonMFortune.com.
Okay.
That's the website. Like I said, it's secured. You pay through PayPal, credit card, or whatever. It's also on Amazon. And I'm working on the audiobook. I have ebook and the paperback on Amazon.
On Amazon, and that's under Sharon M. Fortune.
Sharon M. Fortune. Now, Amazon, if they just typed in the title of the book and then typed in my name, it should come up. Because believe it or not, there are a lot of books out there that are titled The Truth About the Lies.
Yes, it is. But one of the title of my books, when I looked it up, when I first started writing, I didn't realize how common one title could be. And you can't copyright a title.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Right. There may be a little twist on it, like it may not say the truth about the lies, like there's one that's the truth about lies, but it's close enough that when you're looking for me, you may get thrown off because it's there.
Well, your cover stands out too.
Yeah.
Your cover stands out too. So they'll find the right book. Sharon, is it anything, without telling your story, or it's your story if you want to tell, is there anything you want to tell the ladies or the men that are watching?
Well, I want to say, don't be afraid of dealing with the pain, because the pain of the betrayal is where the healing is going to start. And so many, not just with cheating, we just don't like to deal with the pain. Conflicts with friends or family members or whatever, we don't want to deal with pain. But that's where the healing is going to come from, because that pain is going to reconnect you. What it's telling you is you've disconnected from yourself somewhere. If you are constantly dealing with pain, distress, you have disconnected from yourself. Now you find your way back to yourself, and that pain and that distress will lessen. Now, like I said before, you wouldn't be in pain or distress if this fits into your value system, if it's not one of your non-negotiables. But you got to know what your non-negotiables are, and then stay connected to your boundaries and your value system in order to feel whole. And that's the job that the book does. It gets you to thinking. The workbook specifically, because the book is literature, My sister-in-law called it a textbook, and I got mad at her. I was like, it's not a textbook. What do you mean a textbook? But after I thought about it, I was like, well, it is teaching, It's a teaching tool. It teaches us about ourselves. And then the workbook is where you get down to the nitty-gritty, because
you have a workbook with it also?
Yeah. And what the workbook does is it is broken down between the characters, and it's going to ask you a series of questions for you to then answer to yourself. Not your friends, not him, but to answer to yourself, so that you can then start to recreate your narrative, cut through the script, and recreate your narrative in truth, and then walk in it.
Wow. I was surprised tonight when you said I could find out the truth, what's affecting me. I could acknowledge that I've been lying to myself, right? So I'm thinking it's new empowerment, and then it's time to walk away. And then you said this isn't just for cheating, but it could be for family, co-workers, different people.
Right.
You've really taught me something tonight. Because I still won't stay if he cheats, but in other ways, it's just interesting how we can still stay there because we love someone because of some other reason.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you do speaking engagements?
I do.
Do you accept insurance?
I accept insurance. I'm on all major insurance panels. Yep.
Okay, so, and you have a brick and mortar building or online?
I have a brick and mortar, but I actually, Stacey, I haven't been doing any in-person sessions since the pandemic. I've been doing all virtual because none of my clients has asked to go back in person. So I maintain my building because I know one day I will use it again. But right now I'm 100% virtual.
Okay, so we can go to your website. Listen to me talk about we perhaps we
nothing wrong with that.
we could go to your website and schedule an appointment, or
you can go through your insurance company. You know, the insurance companies will in your member portal, they will have me listed, and you can go in and schedule your appointment through your insurance portal. Whatever works for you.
Makes me feel good. I got a big time therapist on the platform. We can go through our portal. No. It has been awesome.
Yes.
It has been awesome.
It has.
So you will do a speaking engagement? You're for hire?
Yes.
Okay. And if someone, whether it be, and it could be for women and men?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can be for women and men. Men have read the book and given me some really good feedback. So it's not just for women, you know, guys.
I didn't even want to go there with you because it's for the women, but you know, it's some women out here putting these men through things too.
Yes.
You know, when the man complains, we want to say he acting like a little, little girl, whatever. But that's another one. You need to come out with another book, Sharon.
Yeah, the guys are always ask me when I'm out, doing engagements. They'll always say, well, what about the women? And I'm like, well, God led me to write this one first.
Yeah. The lies the men tell themselves to be stuck with cheating women.
Yes.
Get on it for somebody.
Part 2.
So, okay, Sharon, if they want to follow you on social media.
Okay. And I don't know why I got all these different names on social media, but on Facebook is easy to find me. It's just under my name, Sharon Matthews Fortune.
Okay.
LPC.
Okay.
On Instagram is SMF Counseling.
SMF Counseling. Okay.
And on TikTok is The True SMF.
Okay. Let me put this in. On TikTok, you are
The True SMF.
The Truth SMS?
The True, TRUE.
The True SMS.
SMF is in Frank.
SMF. The True. Oh, I like that. The True SMF. Okay. Well, very catchy. Very catchy.
Yeah. One day I got to consolidate it and have one name.
Well, you know something? Sometimes that's hard to do when you start and you're doing this.
I know. I had no clue what I was doing.
But you know what? If someone wants to find you, trust me, with Google and everything,
they'll find me.
They will find you. They will find you.
Exactly.
This
has been great. Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
And hey, I don't mind getting on your couch. If there's another subject you come up with that you need to talk about, I'm sure I can sit on the couch and listen.
Okay.
Take care, beautiful.
Okay, you too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, you guys. Another great show. If you need to share this with a friend, be sure to share it with a friend. Bless somebody, right? Instead of like throwing your words out there like you're a therapist, you've got some words from a therapist. You got some words from Sharon, who's a published author. Give them the book as a gift. It would make a nice birthday gift, Christmas present, or just how about this? You've got a girlfriend going through some things. You wrap a book up, give to her, and tell her, just because I'm thinking of you and praying for you. I am Stacey Thomas. Remember, don't stress too much about yesterday. Don't worry too much about tomorrow, because if you do, you just might miss living today. Bye.